Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nareman Hamdan, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nareman Hamdan, and this is Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Follow us on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. We've got a great guest on today. We have Jeff Glick. Jeff has been in the finance industry for over 20 years.
A little more than that.
Over 30 years.
Thank you. Yeah.
Or there it is. So Jeff has experience, his experience ranges from internal auditor at Merrill Lynch, M&A manager at, how do I say the name of the company?
Phibro Energy.
Phibro Energy. He also is a CFO at Elma's USA, and I could go on and on. But Jeff, welcome to the show, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on and speak with us.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
So why don't you start with giving us a quick snapshot of your business right now, what you do, what your company does, all that good stuff.
What we do is we help people become bankable, where small, mid-sized, up-and-coming businesses, they want to get to that next level. And their infrastructure, primarily the financial infrastructure, is not going to get them to where they want to be, that they could be planning for their first material financial transaction. That could be a loan, a merger, an acquisition, or somebody's knocking on their door and wants to buy them. And they're not ready for that, where they think their business is worth, let's say, $10 million, and they have a lot of holes in it. And they might get half of that from a suitor or the valuation from a bank. And so what we try to do is to help them to have their financial reporting timely, accurate, consistent, track key metrics and benchmarks, and have proper policies, procedures, internal controls, and also make sure that their reporting is strategic so that they could use that information that's timely and make critical strategic decisions on their business. And what we also help them do is plan to have franchise value, where is the business just them, or do you have people below you who can take over for you if the business is sold? Is the business owner, is she the only one who knows the clients and the vendors, or there's other people who are managing those? So that's something we also look at.
Sounds like a lot of logistics.
It's a lot of the non-fun stuff. If you're a young, up-and-coming company, the founder has their core competencies. Typically, it's not finance and the financial infrastructure. And what we try to do is to be that trusted advisor to them and learn the things that they don't know what they don't know.
Sure.
And they need someone to talk to, walk them off the ledge sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we also work with, there's this new thing out there called the silver tsunami, where baby boomers are aging out. They found their business 20, 30 years ago, and they want to sell it. And it's not ready to be sold. It's almost like the same thing to become bankable. But now you want to sell your business at the highest valuation possible. You're in your late 50s, early 60s. You think, okay, I'm going to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. There's no franchise value. You are the only one who knows what's going on, but your business could be worth $25 million. And that is 80% of your net worth. How are you going to recoup that value in your business? And so that's what we help you do also.
That's wonderful. So how do you deal with taking risks? Is there a time when rolling the dice really worked for you?
Absolutely. I've rolled the dice a couple of times in my life. So really quick, I grew up in the Bronx. I went to a great high school. I went to State University of New York at Binghamton, accounting major, became a CPA. I went to work for Merrill Lynch internal auditing. Then somehow I got a job at Phibro Energy, which was part of Salomon Brothers. I did a couple of projects. I got put on the trading floor. And then I was an M&A manager. They said, oh, Jeff knows our he knows a lot about risk. He knows a lot about our facilities. They own 4 refineries, salt domes, pipelines, trucking companies, and he's a CPA, internal audit. He knows all about our operations. Let's make him an M&A manager. So I traveled around the country for 5 years basically. And it was great experience. I got my MBA on the road. But then I didn't want to travel anymore. I was having my first child, and they made me in charge of operations for precious metals trading. And 6 months later, I got tapped on the shoulder to go to a spin-off of theirs. And we're spinning off. I just bought a house. We just had a child, a lot of risk leaving
Yeah,
for
for
the
sure.
nest. So I did that, and I was there. So I was 30 years old, and I was a CFO of a $500 million company because we sold to 30 to 40% of the precious metals going into catalytic converters in the United States. So we sold to GM, Chrysler, Ford, all
Wow.
that,
Yeah.
and didn't know what I was doing. There was no internet back then. So everything, the good news is it was slower.
Yeah.
You had to build a computer room with the air conditioning back. It was the dark ages.
Yeah, that it was.
And so I took that chance because I left there to go here. And it was great. I did it for 16 years. We got to $2 billion, perfect lifestyle. Then things happened in '08 and we had to wind down our business. I didn't know what to do after that. So I went to private equity. I wasn't sure that this was for me. So after having lost a lot of money in the stock market in '08 and the housing value, my
Sure.
first child just started college. I started my own business and I had a good job, but I wanted to do something myself. I'm entrepreneurial and I thought I had the network, the attitude, the skills, and people like me and trust me. And that's how I got all these great jobs, not because I knew what I was doing, because they liked and trusted me. And
Sure.
so that's how I started Start You Up. And that was in 2011. And there we focus on startup and emerging businesses and startup and emerging hedge funds, private equity funds, VCs, family offices, and we did a couple of these things called SPACs, special purpose acquisition corporations, when they were pretty hot. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years. I'm also the head of operations for a company called OCFO, where they're a internationally branded outsourced CFO and accounting group, where they've been in business for 14 years. They've done 1,400 engagements in 37 countries. So they have a global
Wow.
footprint. I help run their US operations as well. So I got a lot going on.
So it's fair to say you're not busy at all.
Yeah, but it's great. I like it. I'm busy and I like working with the people I work with. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't work with them. And that includes also my clients.
Absolutely. So everyone hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time that things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
Let's see. I was working in public accounting. I was not loving it. I got called into the partner's office and he says, Jeff, this isn't the lifestyle for you. This isn't a career choice for you. You gotta understand, I was 23 years old. And I said, oh no, oh no. I passed the test already to get my CPA. Now I needed my 2 years experience. And I was coming up on the last week. And I said, okay. And he said, here's your letter of experience. I padded it by a month. So you're good. You'll get your. And I just had to pick myself up and figure out what's next. And that's how I landed at Merrill Lynch because I had a lot of drive, I had ambition, and I had to go someplace that was a good fit for me. So, and that turned out great. And a funny story, 10 years later, the person who told me this wasn't the career for me, he goes into my office. He was working for another firm back then, and he was pitching me, and I was the CFO.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty neat.
And he goes, are you? I go, yeah, that's me. He goes, how the hell did this happen? I just got lucky. And to this day, I still go out to lunch with him at least once a year.
That's wonderful. That is pretty funny to wind up, where
And there's a couple of other stories like that.
yeah,
Things aren't working out, and you have to take a look at yourself and say, what's the best for me and my family in the long term and the short term?
sure. So, what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
I could talk to a wall. I just love talking to people. I go into last night I was at an event. It was the startup Westport event in Connecticut, and there's probably 150, 200 people there. And I just walk around talking to people, exchanging business cards, scanning people's, you know, LinkedIn profiles,
Yeah.
shaking hands, kissing babies. And that skill is so important in what I do because
Absolutely.
as a CFO, you're a position of trust because that ownership group, the board, the stock shareholders are trusting you to help drive the boat.
Absolutely.
And you can't,
Absolutely.
and so you have a contractual obligation and a moral obligation because it's just not the owners, it's the employees and they have families.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't get enough understanding from professionals that it's just not the job, it's the
It's the whole
commitment
package.
and the responsibility.
Sure. Absolutely. So staying on top of any field is tough. What's something exciting on the horizon in your business and how are you getting ready for it?
I think accounting and finance has changed so much every 5 years, especially in the last 20 years because technology has changed so much. And you have to keep speaking to people, you have to keep going to seminars and just learn what's out there, the pros, the cons, and what to look out for. I think, of course, AI is out there. AI is going to change certain aspects of finance. A lot of the work is going to be done by the bots,
Sure.
but there's also an opportunity for the people in finance to be more involved in running of the business because their head isn't in the weeds. If they have the skill set and the education, they could take a look at what's produced and they could say, oh, this doesn't look right. Let's go back. It's almost like being a supervisor for young professionals.
Absolutely.
They give you
Yeah.
something, you go, no, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. I think the problem is going to be in 5 to 10 years where there's nobody who's learned the weeds. And now they're relying on AI. And as the older group ages out, there's not going to be that middle management who can review and understand and talk to somebody about this report. It should be more this, less that, or
Right.
maybe the the bots are going to understand it and you could speak to them. Now it's kind of crazy. They have bots at one company speaking to another company and they're
Yeah.
negotiating. It's crazy. Like
Unbelievable.
the bot will call a call center and get picked up by a bot and they'll go back and forth.
Unbelievable.
It's but
That's pretty
but
fast.
having said that, when I started work, if you were a small mid-sized business, you could have 5 to 10 bookkeepers in an office. Then came this thing called QuickBooks, and those people are gone. Think about that. And now you upload your invoices to a payment system, which is integrated with QuickBooks. So you don't even have to have someone typing it anymore. So it's out there already. It's been happening for the last 30 years, slowly. But
Yeah.
now it's happening so quick because the industry has gotten so much more efficient and better, and the technology is better. I think it's going to help people and it's going to force people to have other skills. And it's these skills, the personal skills, talking to somebody that might become more important
Absolutely.
because there's less cranking of numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. There was an article I read back in February that had stated that the AI is now updating and writing its own programs where on its own without humans,
Yeah.
the founders doing anything. It's just they can't control it now, more or less. But like you said, there was bookkeepers, QuickBooks came around. So this is another level of getting comfortable with the next level of technology and utilizing it as an incredible resource.
Yeah. And you have to treat it as a resource. But interestingly, there's a movement now where people spend a lot of money on it. The tokens are
Mhm.
very expensive. And management or the board says, we need AI just to be in the marketplace. And then that they're spending so much money on AI, they don't know what the return on that investment is. So there's going to be a whole industry on just analyzing AI spend
Wow.
because
Wow.
everybody and their grandmother is putting together an AI platform. Some are more expensive, some are less expensive. It's going to get to a point where if you run certain scripts at night, it might be cheaper because of the
Right.
energy at the data warehouses. Energy is cheaper at night, and it's going to be a whole new industry.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think.
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I would think so. It's just like any other industry when you need to get the data and start analyzing it to figure out what is that return on your investment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and big companies are spending millions and billions now on this stuff.
unreal.
Yeah,
So I'm sure leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
my leadership style is I'm a mentor and not your boss most of the time. I let people make mistakes. That's why they have supervisors and managers. And if you're new and you say, this looks funny, I don't think this makes sense, raise your hand and talk to somebody
Yeah,
because you have a different perspective than we have because we've been doing it over and over again. So we could be making mistakes, the same mistake for 5 years, but it's immaterial each month, let's say, and it's consistent. So if there's consistency, okay, it's consistent. It's consistently wrong, but it's consistent. That doesn't make it
right.
right.
Sure.
And
So
so
it's nice to
raise your
have that.
hand, and then that could help a lot when you do analysis on margins and it's just it's small stuff, but I want people to learn. I want people to make my job easier so I could have more opportunities to do harder stuff.
Sure.
And being a good manager is a great badge to wear if you're moving up on the chain of command.
Sure. So when you're building your dream team, what's one trait you always look for and why?
They have a good personality. Because people, you have to work with somebody and they have to know how to speak to somebody. They have to know how to interact in good times and tough times. And I think a lot of that is overlooked. It's personality, team fit, all that stuff.
Absolutely. So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
So I had a great mentor when I worked at Phibro Energy, which was part of Salomon Brothers. So Salomon Brothers, for your younger viewers, is the equivalent of Goldman Sachs. So
Okay.
I was an M&A manager for them. And so my theory is you have to give somebody a chance to fail, let's say. So I was working on this project for the CFO at Philip Brothers at Phibro Energy. And he said, okay, Jeff, this is great. Salomon Brothers is coming up to do their quarterly meeting with us. I want you to present. So I was 24 years old, didn't have a lot of self-confidence really. And I'm going to do this presentation to the CEO of Salomon Brothers, which was At that point, he was like the king of Wall Street.
Sure.
And it was pretty basic stuff. It's on hedging analysis. And then that taught me a lesson where from the CFO, he said, Jeff, do it. You do the work, you do the talking. And it gave me a lot of impetus to do a really good job for everything I ever did after that, because I was getting the credit. I was getting the exposure to management. And I think a lot of managers keep their people down. They don't give them a chance to rise.
Sure.
And having that exposure to other people in the company is going to give them more opportunities. And that's going to make them work harder and be more pro the enterprise or the company. And they will think less about themselves and more about the company. So with me, I did this presentation. I worked hard on it. The CFO worked with me because it would be easier for him to just do it, but he taught
Right.
me how to do it. And then I got tapped on the shoulder by the personal assistant of the CEO of Salomon Brothers. And they said, Mr. Goodfriend would like to take you out for lunch. And so I said, oh, okay. Now I'm nervous again and way over my skis. And I thought, oh, we're going to go to some bougie place in Greenwich, Connecticut. And we actually went to the best place possible. We went to the employee cafeteria
That's great.
because then everybody saw me eating with him. After they stopped asking, was that your uncle? I said, no, it wasn't my uncle. And so I had this exposure that very few people had. And that taught me another important lesson. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Sure. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
2 weeks later, I was on the trading floor doing hedging analysis and helping the traders make money. So that gave other people in the company the impetus to say, okay, let's work hard so I could be like Jeff. And
Absolutely.
6 months later, I was an M&A manager. So so I
That's
learned a lot
great.
about that. Just being a nice person helps a lot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just being nice and present.
Yep.
What does a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
I was real in the heat of my career or now.
Now.
Oh, now I don't have I'm done paying for college. I've done that. I had the house, I sold it, I downsized the whole thing. So making money is still important. I still like it, but now I'm doing it for myself. So I get up in the morning, I check my emails in bed because I work internationally, which is, and then just keep working and just keep pushing and trying to build businesses, help my clients out. Now I work primarily from home or at a client's office. So I spend a lot of time at networking events now.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's a great way
So
to build
creating
a
more
business
clients.
and it's fun. I love my wife for almost 40 years, but it's a lot of time we spend together. And I'm focused now on my next phase of my family, is grandchildren.
Yeah, that's
And
wonderful.
blessed to have a 95-year-old father who's in good health. So I got a lot of blessings. When I was
Yeah.
young, my kids were growing up, I was home every day at 4:30, which was unbelievable because
Yeah, that is.
we were a precious metals trading company, and when the market ended at 2 o'clock, the New York Mercantile Exchange, we stopped trading. And so I just tell people, close the books, let's balance, and let's go home.
Yeah,
So I
that's
spent a lot of time with my kids.
how wonderful is that? A blessing that is. A
It
lot of
was,
people don't have that opportunity or that
and
option,
I was
I
very
should say.
blessed. I never worked more than 15, 20 minutes from where I lived.
That's great.
Yeah, I was
So,
really
yeah,
lucky.
yeah. Has there been a book, a podcast, or someone that's really changed your outlook or approach?
I don't read a lot. Most of the podcasts I listen to are non-professional, let's say.
Okay.
The ones I do listen to mostly it's follow your passion,
Yeah.
grow as a person, and help the person next to you. I spend a lot of time mentoring young professionals. So I mentor at Fairfield Startup out of Fairfield University. So we start with 20 companies, student run, either active or an idea of one. And then that goes to 5, and then we have a pitch competition. So that lasts for about 8 months.
Oh, that's fun.
I've done it also at UConn, at the University of Connecticut. And I also do mentoring at University of New Haven. So that's really my passion, is helping young adults get to that next level.
Yeah.
And they don't always have to have their parents involved.
How rewarding is that for you?
It's
You
great.
know, and
And
what
if
a
any
blessing
colleges
for
out
them.
there, eventually I'd like to teach.
That's nice.
Yep.
It sounds like things are going well for you in your business. As you're looking towards the future, I'm wondering if or how you create passive income or if you have invested in the past. Obviously, I know you've invested, so what are some things that you're working on now or investing in?
I have a diversified portfolio. At my age, I don't take a lot of risk.
Sure.
So it's like 70-30. I don't go into very many singly held positions. And I have a very good relationship with my money manager at Merrill Lynch. I don't roll the dice anymore. I've rolled the dice too many times on my career
Sure.
because most of my time I spent, half of my income was decided in December at bonus time. So every year I rolled the dice. And then I own my own business for the last 15 years. So it's all on me. And sometimes I have to roll the dice with clients. They say I can only pay you a certain amount until I fund. And that's my passive income where I'll take a percentage of the company.
Got
So
it.
until they get to that first round. And then I typically have an option to either buy more at a certain price or I cash out. So I,
That's a lot. That's
yeah,
good.
it's fun. I've been very fortunate to be in situations where I have the insider view of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we're wrapping up our interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for the next 6 to 12 months? What do you got going on?
Work-wise, working with just my clients, helping them grow, working with the silver tsunami baby boomers who want to sell their business and
Sure.
get and help them build value from within. That's really what I'm focusing on most of my business on now. Talking to money managers whose clients, 80% of the net worth is in their business. They want to sell it. They want to give some to their kids, some to charity. They want to travel all the time, but they can't do that if they're not going to get top value for their business, helping them grow their business and working with startup companies. As I was once one, I ran one once, helping them grow that too. So it stayed the same to a certain extent, but it changes so often because of the economy changes, technology
Sure.
changes. It's easier to implement technology on the finance side. Now you just download something, but you need the team who can implement it the right way.
Absolutely. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. I enjoyed chatting with you and thanks for sharing some insights and tips. If people would like to connect with you, what and how should they do that?
Probably 2 ways. One, Jeffrey Glick, CPA on LinkedIn. I've been pretty active on LinkedIn lately. My last post, I've gotten over 175,000 impressions.
It's great.
It's unbelievable that it just that I, some I do, I get 500 impressions.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. I've gotten
Yeah.
three over 100,000. I've gotten 10 over 50,000. But then after I do really good, I get one at 250, not thousand, just 250.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So it's LinkedIn. You could email me at Jeffrey at ocfo.com as well.
Great. That's how you get a hold of Jeffrey if you would like to connect with him. Thanks again for listening to us, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time.
Likewise. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.